I was diagnosed with rosacea back in 1996. As I got older, it definitely reared its ugly head a little bit more. I have since gotten pretty good control over my rosacea. So I'm going to go through some of the things that I have done that has made it look better and I think kept it under control. Let me just give this disclaimer, of course, I am no professional. I am just a person who has rosacea and I'm showing you the things that have worked for me. I do think you need to consult a dermatologist if you think you have this. And I also will say that not everything works for everybody. Okay, let me show you some of the things, just lifestyle things, and then I will get into like skincare and things like that. So first, lifestyle. If I am outside for any length of time, I'm probably wearing a hat. Sun exposure definitely makes my rosacea come out more. If I'm taking a walk somewhere, I'm wearing a hat. If I'm at the beach, I'm very much wearing a hat. Let's just go ahead and say it right from the get-go. And of course, I am wearing sunscreen. I make sure I use a sunscreen that is made for a face. I don't use a sunscreen that is made for body because there's a chemical in there that just burns my face. I cannot wear it. I don't always wear mineral sunscreen. I'm going more towards that, but I always have a sunscreen on underneath my makeup. Obviously, when I'm out in the sun at all, even if I'm wearing a hat, I'm wearing sunscreen because any sun exposure will just bring out my rosacea even more. And obviously it's damaging for my skin anyway. When I am washing my face or if I'm in the shower, I do not take very hot showers or I wash it with very lukewarm water. When I'm in the shower, it's probably hotter than it should be, but I am not one of those people that is like, yay, give me a cold shower in the middle of the winter. Like summer, sure, fine, but I don't do scalding hot. I definitely make sure that it is on the cooler side. When I'm washing my face, when I put my hands under, it's almost as if it's cold. When it hits my face, it doesn't feel cold. It feels like lukewarm. And that's as hot as I get. If I expose my skin to too much hot, the sun too much hot, or water too much hot, it definitely makes my rosacea come out more. So I try to avoid hot water as much as I can. Okay, so I also avoid trying to be too hot. And this is actually quite hard. Obviously, life goes on. As soon as I get hot, I just get flushed. It's just the way it is. I think we all get a little bit flushed when we're hot anyways, but mine seems to just be much more. If I needed to be in a situation where I was in front of people, where people were going to be looking at me more, then I would obviously try to have the environment where it wouldn't be too hot. But I can't always control that, so it is what it is. I very, very, very rarely will drink alcohol. I would never be able to be a closet drinker or anything like that. It shows on my face as soon as I take a drink. I am completely flushed, and the more I drink, the more flushed I get. I literally look like somebody smacked me across the face. Skincare, how do I take care of my skin? I've done quite a few videos on my AM and PM skincare routine. I actually just did a couple shorts. I will link them below. The first thing I'll say is I do consistent skincare. I don't go to sleep with makeup on. I make sure that my skincare is done morning and night. It's very important on my skin if I'm very consistent. When I wash my face, I only use a washcloth. I never use any kind of like rotating brush or anything abrasive. The washcloth is enough. And then I don't scrub with that washcloth. Now, I've heard that some people think you shouldn't use a washcloth either, it's too abrasive. I'm fine with a washcloth on my skin. So everyone, again, has their different levels. So for me, I get just enough exfoliation with a washcloth and it works well. But again, I don't scrub. My skincare routine is pretty simplified. One thing that I changed last year is I went off tretinoin. And that was for two reasons. One was because I have very dry skin. I do think dry skin and rosacea go together many times, but I don't think you have to have dry skin to have rosacea. ask your dermatologist, I'm not sure. But I know for me that when I am having a flare-up of dry skin, I usually have a flare-up of rosacea as well at the same time. So when I was on tretinoin, it really dried my skin out to the point where I just literally could not get it under control. I was fine for a little while. I used it nightly, and I was fine. And then all of a sudden something changed in my skin and I just needed to stop it completely. And that was hard because I know it is like the gold standard for anti-aging and all that. But I also have to like my skin now. I can't live with skin that's constantly inflamed, constantly peeling and flaky with dry skin so I can look better later. So for me, it was just a no-brainer, stop the tretinoin. Now I do use a retinol, and that has been completely fine for my skin. So again, I will link all the products that I use below so you know what my skincare routine is. I'll also link those shorts that has it, and you can see it in 60 seconds. My skincare routine, literally the nighttime one you'll see in that video, the short, it is under 5 minutes, and that includes washing the makeup off my face and then washing my face and all the steps. Like, it's not, this is a simplified, easy skincare routine. The morning is even less. It's like 2 minutes long. So I have found that with my rosacea, at least, if I keep piling on more and more and more skincare, it tends to flare up my rosacea. So I just think simpler is better for me. Some people think that with rosacea, they get a little bit nervous to exfoliate their skin. Now, I will say that you definitely should not exfoliate your skin with an abrasive kind of thing, like something that has some kind of grit on it or anything. I don't think you should do that. But I do exfoliate with a liquid exfoliant, and I use the one from Paula's Choice. It works well for me. It's pricey. I'd love to find a cheaper version of it. Okay, now that we're all awake, I'd love to find a cheaper version of it, and if I do, I will let you guys know. But so far, this has worked well for me, and I tend to like when it works well, I stick with it because I know that with my skin, it's hard to find things that work well. So I'll be on the lookout, but I love this exfoliant. I use it nightly in the summer. During the winter months when things are a little bit drier and I need to just be a little bit more careful, I'll go every other night. Okay, I do shave my face. So shaving it where I mean I take the little fuzzy hairs thing off, and it does exfoliate because it does take a layer of the dead skin off at the same time. I truly believe this has helped my skin way more than I ever thought because it takes off that little layer of dead skin. Everything I put on my face afterward is just soaking it all in because it doesn't have to go through the fuzzy hair and the dead skin. Now, I only shave probably about once a month. I kind of just look at it and go, oh, there's a little hairy there. So I'll be like, okay, let's get it off. I did do a whole video on things to avoid when shaving your face, like mistakes people make. I will link that one below as well. Okay, if I'm going to incorporate a new skincare product, what I always look for is something that says it's hydrating or it is made for sensitive skin. If it doesn't say those two things, I probably am not going to be interested in trying it. So many brands reach out to me to try their skincare, and because I have sensitive skin, I'm not like jumping on different things here and here and here. It makes me nervous about my skin and my skin barrier. The things, again, that I look for is, does it say it's hydrating? Is this made for dry skin? Is this made for sensitive skin? And sometimes they will even say it's safe for rosacea. Just because something says it's safe for rosacea doesn't necessarily mean it's going to help your rosacea. So that's something I've also learned over the years. Like I'll buy it thinking, oh, this is great. It didn't do anything for it. So it's just that it's not going to exacerbate. Is that a real exacerbate? Yeah. It's not going to harm your face more or make your rosacea worse. My goal with my skincare is to make it clean, to treat it, like with exfoliant or a serum or some kind of protectant, and then some kind of moisturizer. So everything is protecting my skin barrier. If my skin barrier gets harmed in any way or it is inflamed, my rosacea will come out so much more. So I always am protecting my skin barrier. When it comes to cleansing your face, I think that's where people get themselves in the most trouble, because you want to feel like your face is clean. You want your makeup off, and then you do want cleanliness before you go in with any of the treatments or if you put makeup on. So I'm going to show you my favorite cleansers, and I'm going to show you one that I actually just started. So jury's out on that one. My absolute favorite cleanser would probably be from La Roche-Posay. This is the Toleriane Hydrating Gentle Cleanser. It's on the pricier side for a cleanser for drugstore, not high-end. But I would say it's more on the high end of drugstore. But I would buy it every time. It's just that good. I also used for years this one, the CeraVe Hydrating Facial Cleanser. It says for normal to dry skin. This one's also an amazing one. I did start using, and I have liked very much, the one from Prequel. This is the Gleanser, it's called. And it says it is non-drying glycerin cleanser for face and body. It's clinically tested 24-hour moisture. I really like this. You need very little amount. This one, my only complaint is it takes a little bit more to get it off my face. This does give you a bit of suds. These two, there's no suds. There's no soapy feel or anything. It's like you're almost using a lotion, whereas this one gives you a little bit of suds. I usually steer clear of anything that does give me suds because usually that will dry my skin out. So like I think it was CeraVe that came out with one recently. I forgot what it was, and it says it was a moisturizing one, and it did suds and it dried my skin out. I'll figure it out. I'll put it up here and so you see which one I'm talking about. It dried my skin out and it brought out my rosacea. So I stopped using it immediately. This one, even though it suds, it doesn't do that. I've been using this for quite some time. There is so much left in this because you only use like a pea size, and it really goes throughout your face. So no matter how much this costs, it will last you for such a long time. The one I just started using, so I put this one aside for a while because I already know how I feel about it. I love Remedies products. They just came out with a cleanser, and this one is for dry to normal skin. Now this one suds up a lot, way more than this one. So jury's out on this one. It is the summer. I mean, like we're talking major humidity where I live right now. So I can get away with a little bit more of a drying cleanser when the weather is like this. I'm gonna try it for a couple weeks and make sure it doesn't dry out my skin just even in the summer months so I can tell you guys. But if it does that, you know it will be a no-brainer, no way I would use it in the winter months. Now you also have to get your makeup off, which is actually first. I should have talked about that first. One of the things I've been using is from Prequel. This is amazing. It takes off my waterproof mascara. It takes everything off my face, no residue. I like this. I use 2 pumps if I have a full face of makeup on. If I only have eye makeup on, I'll use 1 pump and just concentrate it on my eye makeup. If I don't have makeup on, I don't use this. I don't need it. I just go to the cleanser right away. Unless I've got like waterproof sunscreen on or something like that. But this has been great. You can see I'm almost done with the bottle. I would buy this again, but I actually like a balm better. I like a cleansing balm, and my favorite has been for years is from Banila company. It's called Clean It Zero. This one I started using. You can see I've got still quite a bit to use. I stopped using this to go to this so I could tell you guys how it was. So I will go back to this as soon as this is done. This one I just think it takes off my makeup a little bit more. Now I was talking to actually my physical therapist, hi Diane, and telling her about this, and she tried it and she said it doesn't take off my eye makeup as well, but she was only splashing her face. she wasn't using a washcloth. You do need to use a washcloth. You do need to have that abrasiveness, but a gentle abrasiveness, to get everything off with a cleanser, or even with this, with any of them, I think. Those are the two things I think people mess up a bit when they are trying to do their skincare, is cleansing their face. They just go in with too rough or too abrasive or too sudsy of a product, and it just makes your rosacea come out more and more. Okay, what about covering up rosacea when you've got a flare-up or something, like with makeup and things? So a couple things. First, there are times, like if I've just gotten out of the shower, sometimes you just need to let your skin calm down for a while. If you've got the time, maybe do your shower in the evening. If you have to go to work the next morning or you have a morning thing, don't take your shower in the morning. So I usually take my shower in the morning, usually after the gym. But if I need to go someplace and I need to put makeup on, I try to wait until my skin has calmed down. Because remember, any kind of heat or any kind of movement on my face will make it be redder. And then I'm dealing with trying to cover up something that honestly, if I had just waited like a half hour, maybe an hour, it all would have calmed down, and I'm not putting more makeup on than I need to put on. If I'm having a flare-up, sometimes I won't even put a blush on. I will only put a bronzer on. My favorite bronzer, I had it out. Did I put it away? Okay, I don't know where it went. Oh, my favorite bronzer is the Revolution. It's a cream one. It's their Ultra Cream Bronzer. I like this because it isn't too red. And when you have rosacea, you don't need to put more red things on your face. So that's why I like this. Sometimes that's all I'll put on my face and I won't even put a blush on. If I do put a blush on, I will look for a blush that is a little bit more brown pink, not pink pink. So one of my favorites is True Match from L'Oreal. It's not so pink pink. Jones Road has one. This is actually considered a bronzer. I actually use this as a blush. I love this color. I mean, obviously, look at these two colors. They're very similar. Wet n Wild has a good one that is a little bit more brown blush. So I look for those kind of colors more than like a pink blush. Every time I buy a pinker one, I'm always like, I don't really like it. And I think it's because it makes me feel like my rosacea is worse. So like I just bought this one from Milani. You can see it's much more of a pink. And I'm looking at myself going, why'd you buy this, Bobby? But I wanted to try it. So if I compare the two, so you can see how one is much more pink than the other one. That is one of the things that has helped me to be able to still wear a blush and be able to have that placement, but not have it look like I have rosacea all over again. Like I just covered up all that red and then I'm putting pink on it again. It just doesn't make sense to me, but it does to a degree because you want the pink where you want it to be. I don't want pink all the way down here. I want it to just be right there. Okay, if I am having a flare-up of rosacea, I will steer clear of brushes on my face and I will use a sponge much more. Any kind of abrasive, like that's why I only use that washcloth and not like a spiral thing, will make me look more red. It will just bring all that rosacea out. And that's the opposite of what I want to do when I am covering my face up with a foundation. So when I've got a sponge, the sponge just presses in. It doesn't have that abrasiveness. I love BK Beauty brushes, but they're still a brush. And so when I'm just having a hard time with my rosacea, I will steer clear of this because it's rubbing across my face where a sponge is just dabbing. I will also use this sometimes to put on bronzer, or I'll use it to put on blush. So I'll use obviously more of a cream when I'm doing that. And that's again, less rubbing on my face and I can just place it exactly where I want it to be. So to me, a sponge is like the best thing ever. And then I also will use the Stands Out sponge. This thing is like the softest thing known to man. It's like a cloud going on your face. But this helps me to eliminate extra on my face without having to rub it. It just soaks it up again, and I don't have to worry about it making my rosacea look worse. If I'm at a point in like the week or whatever where I am wearing makeup consistently, because I work at home. I don't always wear makeup, so I can go days in between where there's no makeup on my face. And sometimes when my rosacea is looking great, I won't even put foundation on. But sometimes my face isn't looking so great, or I have events where I have to wear makeup many days in a row. I will purposely choose foundations that do not have denatured alcohol in it. So my absolute favorite foundation is the L'Oreal Infallible. This has denatured alcohol in it. I would never wear this on a daily basis. I can't do it. Those of you who have no problem, if you don't have dry skin, if you have more normal to oily skin, you probably love this. But I just can't handle that. My rosacea can't handle it, and my dry skin can't handle it. So I will steer clear of this, and I will make sure whichever one I'm using does not have that in the ingredient list. Usually, if the product says it's a hydrating foundation, it doesn't have denatured alcohol in it. Usually. It's always good to read those labels though. I will say, with taking all these precautions, I still will have a flare-up with my rosacea. I'm not sure what it is. It could be something I ate. I know that some people stay away from spicy foods. I honestly don't like spicy foods, so that's why I didn't bring it up, because I never eat it anyway. So I can't really say that that's a thing I use to control my rosacea, because I never eat it. I don't know honestly what things trigger it, because it's always been so random for me. And when I get triggered, I'll get like a pimple here and there that looks like a pimple. It's not a pimple. I call it a rosacea pimple. I'll get periodically one, and literally it'll be gone in a day. I don't do anything to it. I just wash and do my face like normal, and it just goes away. Stress can make it come out. I know that. There are times that no matter what you do, you're still gonna have a flare-up, and it is what it is. Do your best and keep going. There is a channel on here called Dr. Lee. A lot of you have probably watched their channel. It's two dermatologists. I like what they do, and they just did a video all about rosacea. It was very informative. It talked about the different kinds of rosacea. So I would recommend going to their video. I'm going to link it as well below, but I will also link here one of my skincare videos, a full one, not just a short, that you can go watch there. And I probably use some different products in it, but always keeping in mind the things that I'm telling you here. So I'll see you maybe in one of those videos or another one. God bless.